with what Bryson actually said, because the context and specific language matter enormously. Speaking at a press conference during LIV Golf's event in South Africa, Bryson was asked about team golf and how to grow the sport's audience. His response started with analysis about viewership, numbers, comparing golf to the NFL, but then pivoted to something much more direct and provocative. He suggested that his LIV team, the Crushers, should face Tiger Woods' TGL team, Jupiter Lynx, in an 18-hole 4 versus 4 match on a real golf course. The proposal itself sounds straightforward. Two star-studded teams competing in a made-for-TV event that would generate massive interest and viewership. Bryson's Crushers roster includes himself, Paul Casey, Charles Howell III, and Annika Sorenstam. Tiger's Jupiter Lynx features Tiger himself when healthy, plus Max Homa, Sahith Theegala, and Tom Kim. That's legitimate star power on both sides, and the competitive dynamic would absolutely draw viewers. But here's why this challenge is so much more complicated and strategic than it appears on the surface. Bryson knows with near certainty that Tiger and his team will never accept. And that knowledge is exactly why Bryson made the challenge publicly and specifically the way he did. The first layer of Bryson's strategy involves platform leverage. Bryson currently has the largest individual golf presence on YouTube, with his channel consistently generating millions of views per video. His Break 50 series and other content regularly outperform traditional golf media coverage, and he's built an audience that extends beyond core golf fans into casual sports viewers and even non-golfers who enjoy his personality and approach. When Bryson mentioned that this proposed match could air on Netflix or whoever wants to put it on, he was being deliberately vague while knowing exactly where it would actually get the most views. His own YouTube channel would likely outperform any traditional broadcast platform for this type of exhibition match. By not explicitly saying that, Bryson positioned the challenge as platform neutral while subtly reminding everyone that he controls the largest golf audience distribution channel currently available. Bryson's viewership numbers tell a compelling story. His YouTube channel regularly pulls in more views per video than traditional golf broadcasts get during regular PGA Tour events. When he posts content featuring challenges, collaborations with celebrities, or behind-the-scenes golf content, he's reaching audiences that would never tune into a standard tournament broadcast. That's real power in modern media landscape, and Bryson knows it. Tiger and the PGA Tour establishment can't acknowledge that reality without giving Bryson and LIV Golf enormous credibility. If they agree to play on Bryson's platform, they're essentially admitting that he's built something significant and that LIV Golf has legitimate competitive value. That's a narrative win for Bryson, regardless of who wins the actual match. The second strategic layer involves the choice of format. Bryson specifically mentioned an 18-hole match on a real golf course. That phrase, real golf course, is a calculated jab at TGL's indoor simulator format. When LIV Golf first launched, critics dismissed it as not real golf because of its 54-hole format and other structural differences. Now Bryson's turning that criticism back around, subtly suggesting that TGL's indoor format isn't quite the same as traditional competition on actual grass. That positioning puts Tiger in an interesting bind. If TGL's format is legitimate and competitive, then there's no reason to require a traditional outdoor venue. But if Tiger insists on outdoor competition only, it implicitly acknowledges that TGL is different from traditional golf. Either way, Bryson's created a talking point that benefits his position. Bryson's analysis of golf viewership versus participation was actually quite insightful and reveals why he's pushing this narrative. He pointed out that in football, only about 2 million people actually play the sport, but over 50 million watch weekly, with the Super Bowl drawing over 100 million viewers. Golf is the complete opposite, roughly 50 to 60 million. People play golf, but only 2 to 3 million watch tournament broadcasts in a given week. That statistical reality shows golf's challenge. The sport has massive participation but struggles to convert players into viewers. Bryson's arguing that team competitions with built-in rivalries, like his proposed Crushers versus Jupiter Lynx match, could attract non-playing viewers the way the NFL does. It's actually a legitimate point about growing golf's audience, but it's also convenient for Bryson's specific interests in promoting his platform and LIV Golf. Paul McGinley and other golf analysts have noted that this challenge feels designed to be declined rather than accepted. The optics of Tiger's team refusing creates a narrative that they're afraid to compete or unwilling to give LIV Golf the legitimacy that comes with direct competition. Bryson gets to position himself as the confident challenger willing to compete anywhere, while Tiger appears cautious and protective of the PGA Tour's established hierarchy. But here's why Tiger almost certainly won't accept, and it has nothing to do with fear or competitive concerns. Tiger's entire strategic position since LIV Golf launched has been supporting the PGA Tour and refusing to give LIV any credibility or validation through direct engagement. When Brooks Koepka returned to the PGA Tour, reports indicated that Tiger was one of the first people Brooks called, essentially seeking approval from golf's most powerful figure. That dynamic shows where power currently resides in professional golf's political structure. If Tiger agrees to play Bryson's team, he's treating LIV Golf as a legitimate equal rather than a rival upstart that should be isolated and marginalized. That undermines years of strategic positioning from Tiger and the PGA Tour. It gives Bryson and LIV exactly what they want, which is recognition and attention from golf's biggest star and most influential voice. The sponsor dynamics complicate things. Further, TGL is fully backed by major corporate sponsors including SoFi, Full Swing, and soon Farmers Insurance. Those partnerships were secured based on TGL's positioning as something separate from and more innovative than traditional golf tours. Having TGL teams play exhibition matches against LIV golf teams could create tension with sponsors who specifically invested in TGL's distinct identity. It's worth noting that TGL doesn't get massive viewership numbers compared to Bryson's YouTube channel, but it doesn't need to because its sponsor model is different. TGL sponsors are paying premium rates to reach a highly specific, affluent audience interested in golf and technology. They're essentially paying more per viewer, but reaching exactly the demographic they want. Bryson's platform gets more total views, but TGL's commercial model doesn't require mass audiences to be financially successful. What makes this challenge particularly clever is that Bryson positioned it as beneficial for growing the game. He talked about creating NFL-style rivalries and team cultures that could attract viewers who don't currently watch golf. By framing the challenge around sport growth rather than personal rivalry or tour politics, Bryson makes it harder for Tiger to decline without appearing to prioritize politics over golf's broader interests. But the reality is that Tiger's priority isn't growing golf through any means necessary. It's strengthening the PGA Tour's position and maintaining the traditional structure that made his career possible. Those goals sometimes align with sport growth and sometimes conflict with it. In this case, accepting Bryson's challenge would grow golf's audience but damage the PGA Tour's strategic position. So Tiger will almost certainly decline quietly by simply not responding. The golf world's reaction has been exactly what Bryson likely anticipated. Fans are split between those who desperately want to see the match happen and think Tiger's being overly political if he declines, and those who understand